Hey, what's up, folks? Welcome to the channel. This video is going to be part 3 on my brand new SCX24 Deadbolt build. If you haven't checked out part 1 or part 2, check those out. Get up to date on everything that I've done to it thus far. In this video, I'm going to be throwing on an Injora 50 turn Pro high torque motor and a FuriTek Lizard ESC with a Bluetooth module. And I've never installed one of these before. I've thrown on a couple of brushless in the past, so I don't think it's going to be too awfully tough. This should be fairly easy. But folks, yeah, basically what I'm trying to do, I've already got 5 SCX24s that is running the FuriTek Komodo brushless motor with the FuriTek ESC. So I'm just trying to up something a little different on this one, just to see if the Injora, how much of a difference it'll make over stock. I know it says high torque. I'm just kind of curious with the high torque, if the ESC can kind of keep it under control and maybe have any low torque power to it at all whatsoever. But I guess we will find out, folks. I'm going to go ahead and get stuff opened up, take the body off this rig here, and I'll be back in just a moment. Stay tuned. Okay, I got it opened up. Motor comes with its own mounting plate. I'm not sure if that's even needed yet. I haven't made it that far, but obviously that's the stock motor right there. This motor is going to be quite a bit longer. Doesn't look like the width is any different, but from what I'm understanding and from what I'm seeing by looking at it, this piece right here on my battery tray, that's the only modification I got to make, is to cut that piece out. It's a lot smaller than the brushless motors that I've put in the past, to where you had to cut out and rearrange everything. So this should be a fairly easy install. So I guess first I want to remove my inner links, get the skid plate out, get the motor off, and we'll take it from there, folks. When I make it to that point, I will see you then. Stay tuned. Well, I got the motor out. Basically, it was just a matter of removing, let's see, 2 screws on each side of your skid plate, 2 screws on the bottom, and then 1 screw right here. You had to come in from the top on that one. On the driver's side, toward the back of the skid plate. Got that out, motor came out. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this transmission cover off. I'm assuming the stock one will work on this. See what's going on here with this mounting plate. Be back in just a minute. Okay, so I got the transmission cover off. That's basically 2 screws that come in from this side here. Take those 2 screws out, it pops right out. And then to get the motor off the plate, you got 2 screws you got to remove, and they're not the typical SCX24 screw. They're a little bigger. I think they're 1.5 millimeter. It's the same size that's typically on the back of a beadlock wheel, on the screws you got to use to go into the back of a beadlock, but I'm pretty sure it's 1.5 millimeter. But you can get to one right here. The second one, you can't really get to it because the spur gear is in the way. And the spur gear is connected to what looks to be just like a typical wheel nut. So you also got to remove your drive shaft, because your drive shaft is blocking your spur gear from coming out. So I'm going to go ahead and I guess let me get this a little better. So where are we at here? I got that one out. Go ahead and put a little wheel nut tool on that. It's not on very tight at all. Okay, then I gotta undo the drive shaft. Pop the drive shaft out. Spur gear comes out. Then you can get to that one bigger screw right there. And your motor disconnects. Yeah, so it's looking like the holes that go into your motor do not align with the holes in the stock plate. So I guess that's the reason why they send their own plate to go with the motor. And so to go ahead and get the plate off, it's just 3 more screws. Make that 4 more screws. Plate is off. I'm gonna go ahead and put the Injora plate back on. Start putting stuff back together. Folks, I'll be back in just a minute. Okay, I got my plate back on. I'm gonna go ahead and slide the motor in. And I'm gonna go ahead and put back in one of those 1.5 millimeter screws because it won't fit. You can't get to it if you put the spur gear on first. And it's not very, I don't crank them down very tight. May as well go ahead and put the other one in as well. Okay, so the motor screwed on. Take your spur gear. Ow, got my finger. Everything's turning. Sweet. Little wheel nut. It's just barely on. Well, I mean, it's on, but not very tight. And I'm just going to test it before I go any further. And it seems to be working appropriately. Now you can put your drive shaft back on. Put the screw in there, and that's pretty much all there is to it. Cover back into place. Two screws there and there. And everything's put back together. Alrighty, I'm gonna go ahead and start throwing this thing back in my rig there, and folks, I'll see you guys in a minute. Just gonna see if I can snip this out. That should fit. Okay, I got the transmission cover back on. It was 2 screws, one here, one here. I got everything mounted back to the skid plate. That's 2 screws on the bottom, there and there. And then one that you screw in from this direction, right here on the driver's side. So see if I can throw this thing back together. See what we got. Stay tuned. Okay, so I got everything put back together. The piece that I had to cut out for the motor to fit was this piece right here. That was all the modding I had to do to make it fit. So I'm gonna power it up. See if this thing will turn the wheels here. Okay. So if you saw my first video on the portals run in reverse. I kind of explained that in the video, but if you'll notice, I'm pulling back on the throttle and it's going in reverse. I'm pushing forward on the throttle and it's going forward. It should be the other way around, obviously. And what I did in the first video when I threw on the portals, I just unplugged the motor wires and pulled them out of their plug and just swapped the red and the black wires to the opposite spots, and that changes your direction of travel. I'm not going to do that on this one just because I'm fixing to try out this FuriTek Lizard, and I've never used this ESC in a brushed motor. I've only used it with brushless. Getting at this has Bluetooth to it, and I'm sure most of y'all already know that, but I can actually go to the FuriTek app and I can change the direction of travel through the app. There's all kinds of different things you can do. Is once I do get this plugged in and get my travel going correctly, and also too, this, I'm sure this is set up for a brushless motor. So once I get it plugged in, I'll have to go to the app and I'll have to convert it from a brushless motor to a brushed. Okay, so, and this ESC I actually bought, it's a FuriTek Lizard, and I bought it thinking that it was the combo with the Bluetooth module, but when I got it, it did not have the Bluetooth module with it. So I ended up having to buy the modules separate, and you can get them both off Amazon. I think the ESC, which I bought the ESC, gosh, 3 months ago probably. A lot of the stuff that I've put on this in the last 3 videos, I've had for several months. I just haven't had time to get to it. But when I bought the ESC, I'm thinking it was $60, somewhere around in there. And again, that was several months back. And I bought the Bluetooth about a month ago, and I think it was $15 or $20. I don't remember. But It's a fairly simple setup. Just unplug my battery, unplug the motor. The motor goes into this, which this is a 3-prong. Your motor is a 2-prong. You just throw it into the side to where it catches the prongs. See if I did that right. Then you plug your battery up to this. And then this gizmo goes in channel 2, which is right next to your steering. Okay, so I think I got everything plugged up right. And your power switch is now on this. It's just that little button right there in the corner. So let me see if I did this correctly. I got power. Okay, so got it on. So when I try to pull back on the throttle here, it's trying to go backwards, and see that clicking? It don't really want to move. So that's because, again, the FuriTek is set up for the brushless motor. So I'm going to go into the app real quick. I'm going to change my direction of travel and switch it from a brushless to a brushed. That'll be coming up next. Stay tuned. So just hit the FuriTek app once you've got it downloaded, if you haven't already. Searches for your vehicle. When it finds it, you got to reset your password if it's the first time. And I don't know how to hide my password on here. I really don't care if you guys see it. It's not that big a deal. But then you'll see configuration, motor type, brushless. Just tap on that. And then it gives you the option to tap on brushed and hit OK. And then there's 3 lines up at the top. Hit that. It's not showing up on my screen, but then you select, I'm pretty sure it was throttle, and then rotation direction, CW, tap on that. Change it to CCW to change your direction of travel. That's all there is to it. Okay, so after making those changes in the app, pull back on the throttle. It goes forward. Push forward, it goes in reverse like it's supposed to. And it's actually running smooth. So that's all there is to doing the app there. There's all kinds of different things you can set up in the app. And honestly, what I did on my brushless motors and what I've done all this onto this, I've just left everything as default, just how it is whenever you set it up. I really haven't had time to experiment with what a lot of the settings will do. I may do that here in the near future, but for now, I want to go ahead and try to suits this up a little bit and try to get some stuff to where it's tucked a little neater. And I'm going to take it outside and just see if I can tell a lot of difference with this. I can already kind of tell a difference in here just on the desk. It does feel a little more controlled. But folks, give me just a minute. I'm going to get some of this stuff out of the way and go give this thing a whirl with the new ESC. So stay tuned. Okay, so all I did was just take the ESC, the FuriTek, put it beside my stock ESC and just ran a zip tie around it. And then I took the Bluetooth module and I zip tied it to 3 of the black wires that go to the piece that you plug your motor into. And then I just tucked those wires underneath my battery strap. And I'm hoping that'll stay there. Let me make sure I did it right here just so I could still get to my power switch whenever I got that closed. Fairly simple, which I can, so. Yep, it's locked and loaded. So now, before I make this last climb, and I'm going to crawl around with it just for a minute or two to try to get a feel of it, but I got some more brass boulder bars I've put on my other RCs, And obviously you can see there the color of it's brass, but all I did was paint them black just to keep matching. Gotta keep matching. But I'm gonna throw these brass boulder bars on there, see how it makes the climb with a little extra weight. Drive it around for a minute or two and try to get a feel for it. Okay, this is a stock motor, low power setting. And that's full throttle. As far as it'll let me go. So I'll up it to 2. See if I have any better luck here with 2. We'll climb it in 2. Okay, this is with the Injora 50 turn Pro brushed motor in the low power setting. See if it'll climb it in the low. And it will. And that is with the stock ESC. Nice. Okay, this is with the FuriTek ESC. I disconnected it and ran it a few minutes without it. And it was pretty jumpy. It was, you know, what's a high torque? It was high torque. And on technical spots, it was kind of hard to move slowly in certain instances. But now it's it doesn't have the low torque power as the brushless, but it does seem to be controlled pretty well, for sure. See if I can get it to do this. And this is in the low power setting. I don't think it could have, as heavy as it is, I don't think it could have made this climb in the low power setting with the stock motor, for sure. May not be able to make it, period, but yeah, in the low setting, I don't think it would have done this in stock. And again, it may be too much for it. Nope. He got it. Yeah, it's definitely way better controlled with the ESC, for sure. Yeah, the most of my RCing has been with brushless motors, the FuriTek brushless. 5 of my RCs have got the brushless in it. And the low torque power on the FuriTek brushless is just insane. But this isn't terrible. You got to pull the trigger back a little bit. But I mean, this is in the low power setting. And it seems to be doing just fine. Yeah, you definitely got to pull back on the throttle. But it's very controlled. Yeah, I like it. Okay, may not have enough guts. There he goes. Just had to turn the wheel a little bit to get him up over that. That's a low power setting still. Doing pretty good. Kind of curious to see if I can get him over this in a low power. No problem. Yeah, way better than stock for sure. Not quite as good as the FuriTek brushless, but definitely better than stock, no doubt. Well folks, this is going to complete the build. Started this thing fully stock, brand new. Transformed it a bit. If you've seen all 3 videos, thanks for watching. Had a good time doing it for sure. Liking my little black rig here. I guess that'll do it, folks. Again, thanks for watching. Stay tuned.